Although Afghan food can vary greatly between regions, there are many food staples which are found commonly everywhere. Fresh yogurt, coriander, garlic, onions, tomatoes and potatoes are widely used across the country. These ingredients are commonly used in korma, a popular stew which is usually served with rice. There are over 100 recipes for korma, and these can include many combinations of vegetables, fruits, spices and meat, but they are nearly always cooked around a fried onion base. Due to the large variety of terrains available to them, Afghans are able to grow an abundance of exceptionally high-quality fruits. These fruits have traditionally been the main export of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is well known around the world for the quality of its grapes. These are generally grown in the warmer climates and are highly prized. They are used fresh or sometimes dried to form sultanas, which can be stored for longer periods of time and added to dishes such as palo, the national rice dish. Other fruits that are plentiful, depending upon the region, include pomegranates, apricots, berries and plums. Nuts are another important and extremely healthy food source that are very popular. Dried nuts and seeds, such as walnuts, pistachios, almonds and pine nuts are plentiful across the country and commonly added to many traditional dishes. With its location along the Silk Road, it's no surprise that the cuisine of Afghanistan makes good use of the herbs and spices. Cardamom and black pepper were introduced from India, while mint, coriander and other spices came from Europe and China. Fruits and vegetables, fresh and dried, are an important part of the Afghan diet, especially in the rural areas. They are cooked and served as accompaniments, relishes, appetizers and main courses. A perfect example of the influence of China on the Afghan cuisine is these delicious dumplings. In Afghanistan, pasta, or khamir bob as it is known, is only used for these tasty parcels of meat or leek.
من تو مثل یک غذای اوسان است در افغانستان و زیاد مردم وقتی که فامیلا میخواین یک جای شون بیاین امروز ملی منتو میکنیم و همگی یک جای میشیم و بعد از او هر کس یکی میخواد که یک کمک بکنه، یکی میخواد خمیرش تیار بکنه، یکی میخواد درون مواد درون خود منتو رو تیار بکنه، یکی میخواد مواد سرش تیار بکنه و کلگی ما یک جای میشینیم و مواد منتو رو تیار میکنیم و همگی ما یک جای میشینیم در دور یک میز منتو تیار میکنیم و هر کس میخواد که دو یک چیز بکنه و کار بکنه که میخواین او از اون کار کردنش هم لذت میبرن و بعد از او که تیار میکنیم و با هم یک جای میشینیم و یک لذت دیگه داره به همگی ما.
For this dish, you will need some wonton wrappers. You could make them yourself, but they are inexpensive and available from most Asian grocers. You will also need a range of fresh vegetables and spices, and some natural yogurt for the final presentation. Mantu is prepared in 3 stages, so let's get started. First, coarsely chop your onions. Don't be too fussy as they will be put in the blender. Peel and chop your carrot the same way. Put just over half your onions into the blender and chop them fairly finely, then put them aside. Take the remainder of the carrot and onion and blend that also into a coarse vegetable mince. Now it's time to heat up your pot. Add a splash of oil and wait for it to heat up. When hot, place your mince and garlic and start the process of browning the meat. The garlic will start to add flavours right away. When the meat has changed colour, add the onions and cook them through. You can also season with salt. While it's cooking, you can add the ground coriander seeds. When the onions begin to clarify, You can add the remainder of the onions and carrots and season with black pepper. Stir it through and let it cook, but not for too long. Place a colander in your sink or a large pot and pour in the cooked filling to drain off the excess moisture. You then need to put it aside to cool. Now you will need to create the sauce for the dumplings. Firstly, chop the onions finely for frying. Peel and chop your carrots ready for the stock. Wash and peel your potatoes and chop them into small cubes. Slice the tomato into small pieces and peel and chop the garlic. You don't need to mince it, the flavour will release from the slices. Place the pan on the heat and add some oil. Be quite liberal with the oil, about 2/3 of a cup. Again, wait for it to heat up before placing your onions and garlic into the pan to brown. When the onion is cooked well, add your tomato. Cook for a little while before adding the carrot and potato together. You can also season with a little salt at this time. You will notice the sauce is taking on a nice rich colour. You will need to add a little water at this stage, then put the lid on and place it aside to simmer. When the filling is cooled, place your steamer pot on the stove to heat up. Then it's time to make your dumplings. Make sure you have a little water handy to pinch your wraps together. Spread the wrap on the bench top and place a little filling in the middle. Wet your fingertips and dab a little water in each corner. Fold the opposite corners together like this and then curl the ends together. Let's take a look at that again. Everybody makes their own particular shape, and don't worry if yours looks a little different, they still taste great. When you have steam escaping from the lid of your steamer, it's ready to go. Place a little oil on the steam pan and oil it lightly. Place the Khmer bob dumplings into the tray, not so close that they will stick together. Cook them for about 10 to 12 minutes, then serve them with fresh natural yogurt with a little garlic and lemon juice and a sprinkle of paprika. Finally, garnish with mint or coriander. Then, of course, eat them before they go cold. Mantu, a popular Afghan treat. Coming up on Cultural Flavours, a famous rice recipe that has been a family secret and delicious mouth-watering meatballs. Every country has foods that are eaten all the time, staple dishes that taste great but are practical and nutritional. Kabuli palau is one of those dishes. Although the cuisine differs greatly right across Afghanistan, this style of baked rice, although very varied throughout the country, is a true Afghan classic.
قابلی پلاو بسیار زیاد در افغانستان مشهور است و غذای بسیار مهم است، خصوصا برای عروسی‌ها، برای مهمانی‌های کلان. هر روز ما در افغانستان قابلی نمیخوریم. قابلی را میمانیم برای چیزهای بسیار مخصوص و برای مراسم مخصوص خود. و از او خاطر بسیار زیاد مهم است که ما در پختن قابلی بسیار زیاد کوشش میکنیم. مثلا بهترین برنج برای قابلی استفاده میکنیم و بهترین گوشت که دو سسش مندازیم و از گوشت که استفاده میکنیم برای قابلی و زردک و کشمش، خلال، بادام، پسته و مسالجات مختلفی که با او استفاده میکنیم. قابلی را یک غذای بسیار مخصوص ساخته در افغانستان که بسیار لذت بخش است.
For this dish, you'll need some chicken pieces and a range of fresh vegetables. You will also require rice, and it's best soaked. 1 hour is okay, but soaking your rice for 3 hours is preferred. The first step is to prepare your chicken pieces. If you have quality free-range chicken, you may prefer to leave the skin on. Broiler hens tend to have a stronger flavour, so it's best to remove the skin, and you can wash it to remove some of the fat layer on the meat. Dice a large onion and about half a large tomato. Then it's over to the stove. Put some oil in a pan, and when hot, add the onions and bay leaves and get them cooking. When they are starting to brown, add the chicken pieces and coat them with the flavoured oil. Get them cooking and season with salt. When the chicken is browning, add the tomato and some water to really get your stock going. Place the lid on and keep it on the heat for about 10 minutes. Then you can move on to the rice. Now place a pot of water on the heat with a lid in preparation for the rice. While this is warming up, you can prepare the carrots that add flavour and colour to the rice dish. Peel your carrots, cut them, then slice them julienne style. You can use a slicer if you prefer. When the water is boiling, drain the soaking water from the rice and add it to the pot of water. You can also add some salt here too. While the rice is cooking, you can caramelise some sugar. This adds a rich brown colour to the dish. Add your sugar to a pan on medium heat, and while the rice is cooking, let the sugar begin to melt. Keep an eye on both the rice and the sugar, as you don't want to overcook either. When the rice is just softened, drain the water off. Wait until your caramel has reached a dark, rich tone. When it reaches this colour, add some water to stop the sugar cooking, then return it to the heat. Place the rice back in your pan, then tip the stock liquid into the rice and add the caramel. You will also need to add some oil here to avoid the rice sticking together. Grind your cardamom and fennel and add this to the rice. Place it back on the heat to warm. When steam escapes from the lid, it's time to place it in the oven at 250 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Then lower to about 100 degrees for another 40 minutes. You can cook it longer on low heat and the flavours will develop further. Now you will need more ground cardamom to add to your rice dish later. Then it's back to the stove to prepare the last of the ingredients. Fry your carrots, then sultanas, in a liberal amount of oil. Place in a lined colander to drain and add your pistachios, almonds and the ground cardamom. Then mix well. When the rice is baked, spoon it onto a large plate. Then put the chicken from the stock on top, then cover with more rice before decorating with the carrots, sultanas and nuts. Now you have a delicious, authentic Afghan Kabuli palau. Next on Cultural Flavours, we explore the flavours of a traditionally hearty meal that is one of the oldest known recipes from the Middle East. Of all the food staples in the Afghan diet, rice is considered by all to be the most important, and this is reflected by the huge variety of dishes featuring this basic ingredient. Rice was a favourite of the royal family, and rice dishes featured heavily in their ancient cookbooks. Wealthy families will eat it once a day, and most important ceremonies and family gatherings will always be marked by eating several rice dishes. Chalao is a simple yet tasty way to prepare rice, featuring a long grain rice such as basmati, which is parboiled, drained and then baked in an oven with some oil, butter and salt. Yet by far the most popular form of rice dish is palau, the national dish of Afghanistan. Prepared in a similar way to chalao and then blended with meat, stock or korma to produce a hugely satisfying dish that is rich in colour, flavour and aroma. There are numerous pilau recipes, each combining several unique vegetables, herbs and spices to produce exotic rice dishes full of Eastern promise. The popularity of these rice dishes can be contributed to the fact that they can be shared by large groups of people, and this reflects the importance of eating together in Afghan community. Bread is another staple that is commonly eaten throughout the region. More famous for being eaten in neighbouring India, naan is also consumed widely across Afghanistan. Obinon is a round and very thick bread usually made with white flour. Other breads include the lavash, a very thin, flat bread that is usually used as plating for some meat dishes and many stews. Breads are commonly eaten with tasty accompaniments such as torshi, made with various pickled fruits and vegetables mixed with vinegar and spices, or chutney, a pepper sauce of vinegar, coriander, chili and tomato paste. With Afghanistan playing host to so many cultures during its rich history, it comes as no surprise that we find that pasta is another popular dish across the country. These native dishes are immensely popular, but due to their lengthy preparation, they are usually reserved for special occasions. Pasta dumplings come in two varieties. Mantu is generally filled with onion and beef, while ashak contains leeks. The dumplings are then steamed and topped with a yogurt-based sauce. These dishes are delicious and very original to the region. Popular across the Middle East and Asia, kofta, or meatballs as they are known in the West, have been made for hundreds of years. Made from ground meat or mince, they are a delicious piece of culinary history.
کوفته از گوشت کوبیده تیار میشه که به همراه ترکاری‌های مختلف یک جای میشه و همراه یک مساله مخصوص خود کوفته و او بسیاری مردم خوش دارن که مرچ داشته باشه، بسیاری ندارن. خود کوفته به تنهایی همراه نان صرف میشه، مگم در افغانستان زیادتر کوفته را همراه چلاو صرف میکنن که او را کوفته چلاو میگن و یا همراه کچری قروت صرف میکنن که او هم یک غذای بسیار زیاد مشهور است و کوفته همراه این دو چیز زیادتر در افغانستان مصرف میشه.
Today we will show you how to prepare a traditional kofta using a combination minced lamb and goat. Alternatively, simply substitute these with a good quality minced beef if you prefer. First, you will need to prepare your sauce that the meatballs will cook in, so peel and slice your garlic. Then you will need to chop your onions and slice your tomato and place it aside. Wash your fresh curry leaves ready for cooking. You can leave them on the stalk for now. Move over to the stove with your ingredients close by. Heat up some oil and when hot, fry your onion. When the onion is close to clear and browning off a little, strip some curry leaves into the onion and oil. Fry for about a minute to release the curry flavours and then add your tomato. Give it a quick stir and then you can slow the cooking by adding some water, about 2 cups. You will need your mince for this part. If you don't have goat and lamb mince, any type will do. You will also need to grind your coriander and peppercorns. Slice the onions and wash and slice the peppers. Then you can place them in a blender and chop them finely so they can be mixed into the minced meat. Add the onions and peppers to the meat along with the ground coriander seeds and ground pepper. Put a dish of water close by, then mix the ingredients with your hands. When thoroughly mixed, wet your hands a little and work the meat into small balls, then flatten. When they are all done, you can take them over to your simmering pot and add them to the sauce. Stir them through a little and replace the lid. They should be cooked in about 15 to 20 minutes, but you can leave them on a very low heat until you need to serve. They will absorb more flavour. Generally, kofta are presented in a bowl, garnished with mint or coriander and served with some warm flat bread. And yes, they do taste as good as they look. With a culinary past more colourful than most countries, the food of Afghanistan is surprising and varied. Each region of the country has its own flavours, styles and favourites. And we have only scratched the surface of a cuisine that most food lovers have probably not even considered experiencing. Cultural Flavours continues to explore the world through the diversity of food. Join us next time as we take you on another gastronomic journey so you can experience the tastes of the globe at home.